Kopf is officially facing the most expensive ultimatum in influencer history after receiving a $500,000 birthday surprise that has left her visibly shaken and the internet questioning the true cost of a free gift. While the world was still processing her high-profile retirement from the blue site and her staggering $67 million career earnings, a new player entered the frame with a gesture so massive it forced an immediate and very public confrontation. This isn't just about a luxury car or a high-end watch. It is a calculated move in the high-stakes game of digital clout, where the price of a gift is often a down payment on a person's public image and their future autonomy. This sudden escalation in Corinna's post-retirement life raises three vital questions that every follower is currently debating. First, what exactly was written in the private note that accompanied $500,000 in luxury items? Second, why did Corinna repeatedly describe herself as scared during what should have been the most celebratory moment of her year? And third, is this a genuine romantic gesture or a strategic business move by a fellow creator to tether their brand to the industry's most successful female exit? The common narrative currently flooding social media feeds is that Corinna has finally found a partner willing to match her own financial energy and success. However, the reality captured on camera tells a far more complicated story of social pressure, psychological manipulation, and the darker side of the influencer economy. According to the viral footage released on December 6, 2025, creator SteveWillDoIt arrived at Corinna's birthday celebration not just with a gift, but with a full professional camera crew and a crowd of screaming onlookers designed to maximize the spectacle. This sets the stage for our second most shocking point in this timeline, the sheer financial weight of the receipts involved in this one-sided transaction. Per the video evidence, Steve presented Corinna with a Porsche 911 GT3 RS, a vehicle known for its extreme rarity and a price tag that easily clears $300,000 on the secondary market. But he didn't stop there. According to eyewitness accounts and the raw video itself, he followed up with a factory-issued Rolex to match his own style, bringing the total bill for the evening to approximately $500,000 in liquid assets. In the influencer world, a gift of this magnitude is rarely just a gift. It is a receipt of social dominance. To the average viewer, this looks like a fairy tale of extreme wealth. To the industry insider, it looks like a velvet trap. When someone hands you the keys to a supercar in front of millions of viewers, they aren't just giving you a car, they are buying your reaction, your time, and potentially your future brand alignment. The reality of the situation is that Corinna, who just spent 3 years becoming one of the wealthiest independent women on the internet, was suddenly placed in a position where she was the one who owed a debt. This leads us directly into the #1 most shocking revelation of the entire night, the Date Me contract hidden within the luxury packaging. Per the speech delivered by Steve on camera and the subsequent breakdowns by those in attendance, the Rolex came with a specific, handwritten note that changed the entire energy of the room. While the full text hasn't been leaked to the public, Steve admitted his true intent to the surrounding crowd. According to his own words during the presentation, the note essentially stated that if he could prove he was becoming less unhinged and crazy over the next year, Corinna should consider dating him. If not, she was told to open the gift in a year regardless of their status. This is a classic future-faking tactic used in high-level networking and social engineering. By tying a $500,000 investment to a potential romantic outcome, the gift stops being a gesture and starts being a social contract. The shock value here lies in the incredibly public nature of this proposal. It wasn't a private conversation between two friends. It was a broadcasted negotiation where Corinna's consent was being framed as something that could be purchased in real time. According to social media analysts and brand experts, this move was designed to make it socially expensive for Corinna to say no. If she accepts the car and the watch, the public expects her to give the donor a chance. If she rejects the car, she risks looking ungrateful for a life-changing gift in front of her entire fan base. This brings us to our third major point, Corinna's reaction, which was the absolute opposite of what would be the expectation for a birthday surprise. Instead of the typical influencer joy or a celebratory scream, the reality was a repeated expression of fear. Per the transcript of the video, Corinna's first words upon seeing the roaring Porsche engine and the flashing cameras were, "I'm so scared." She repeated this phrase multiple times as the crowd pressed in closer to catch her reaction for their own feeds. According to psychological experts who study influencer dynamics in high-pressure social situations, this fear is a natural response to being love-bombed in a public forum. Corinna is a woman who can afford 10 of those cars with her own monthly interest from her previous industry work. The gift didn't provide her with something she needed, it provided her with a burden of obligation she didn't ask for. When she asked the crowd what she did to deserve all this, she wasn't being humble or modest, she was asking for the why behind the manipulation. According to the footage, she looked genuinely overwhelmed by the realization that her clean post-retirement image was being pulled back into a chaotic and unhinged narrative for the sake of a viral thumbnail and a fellow creator's engagement metrics. Now we must look at the Clout Contract theory, which serves as our fourth point of analysis. According to industry trackers and digital marketing experts, the video of this gift-giving has already amassed over 6 million views across multiple social media platforms. If we calculate the ad revenue, the secondary content generated by reaction channels, and the massive brand growth for SteveWillDoIt, that $500,000 investment might actually be a highly profitable marketing expense rather than a selfless act of friendship. Per the follow the money rule of the digital age, this isn't about love, it's about ad spend. By associating his name with Corinna Kopf during her peak retirement news cycle, Steve ensured his brand remained relevant to her massive and highly engaged audience. The reality is that Corinna's retirement made her more valuable than ever because she is now a finite resource. You can no longer just subscribe to a site to see her, you have to follow her life story to stay connected. And in this moment, Steve just bought a front row seat to that story, effectively merging their audiences without her prior consent. Moving into the fifth point, we have to analyze the clean image trap that Corinna has walked into. Corinna has been very vocal in late 2025 about wanting to be taken seriously as a professional gamer and a high-level streamer moving forward. She wanted to move away from the spicy content labels and the drama-heady vlog style of her past. By being the center of a crazy $500,000 stunt, she is being dragged back into the drama category she worked so hard to escape. Per industry insiders, this is the biggest mistake top-tier creators make during their transition phase. They forget that their attention is still the most valuable currency on the market. Steve didn't just give her a car, he gave her a new controversy to manage at a time when she was trying to quiet the noise. This is a significant setback for her professional pivot, as the narrative is once again focused on her relationships and her price tag rather than her actual business acumen or her talent as a streamer. In the sixth and final point of this breakdown, we have to consider the long-term impact on her career and her personal safety. According to data from Social Blade and real-time engagement metrics, Corinna's audience is deeply divided on this event. Half of her audience believes she should simply take the win and enjoy the car, but the more observant half sees the creepy nature of the public pressure being applied. Per a follow-up livestream she conducted shortly after the party, Corinna mentioned that she doesn't even know the donor that well, which confirms the massive expectation versus reality gap. The expectation was that this was a gift between deep, long-term friends. The reality was a high-priced introduction to a camera crew and a scripted moment. This event proves that even with $67 million in the bank and a secure financial future, you can still be the target of a hostile takeover attempt in the influencer economy. When we look at the timeline of Corinna's career, this gift arrives at a very specific inflection point. According to reports from the Los Angeles social scene in late 2025, Corinna has been turning down traditional brand deals to focus on her own ventures. By inserting himself into her life with such a massive financial gesture, Steve has effectively bypassed her management and her personal boundaries. According to the pros of her recent social media posts, she is still trying to process the energy of that night, a phrase many have interpreted as a soft rejection of the romantic strings attached to the Porsche. The reality of being a woman of her stature in the industry is that people will often try to buy what they cannot earn, and this birthday party was the ultimate display of that philosophy. In summary, the drama surrounding Corinna Kopf's $500,000 gift is a masterclass in the dark side of influencer generosity. It wasn't about a birthday celebration, it was about a brand merger that Corinna didn't necessarily sign up for. She walked away from the industry to own her own image and control her own narrative, only to find that in the world of the ultra-rich and the ultra-famous, people will spend $500,000 just to put their name next to yours in the headline. The car is real, the watch is a factory-authenticated Rolex, but the romance is allegedly nothing more than a high-priced script written for the benefit of the algorithm. Corinna may have retired from the site, but she is finding out the hard way that the game of clout never actually ends. If you think this birthday surprise was unhinged, you haven't seen the half of what goes on when the cameras are actually turned off and the real negotiations begin. The influencer game is built on these invisible contracts, gifted obligations, and the constant trade of human attention for digital growth. The influencer game is built on these invisible contracts, gifted obligations, and the constant trade of human attention for digital growth. These tactics keep creators trapped in cycles of drama for the sake of staying relevant, even when they have more money than they could ever spend. If you want to see the actual legal documents, the non-disclosure tactics, and the secret management moves that the biggest names in the industry use to keep these stories under their control, you need to watch the next entry in our series. For the full breakdown on how clout is traded like a commodity and how your favorite creators are often playing a role they can't escape, you have to dive into the Velvet Rope Industry Secrets playlist. The truth behind the gift is always more expensive than it looks on the surface, and we are just getting started, uncovering the real price of fame.